Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. I suddenly realised today that Father's Day in UK is on June the 18th, so I've had to rejuggle all my previous work I'd done for the coming weeks so that I could fit in some masculine cards with the run up to Father's Day. Now, I got these as an online exclusive as soon as they came out, but I haven't had a chance to use them yet, and I think this set is great for masculine cards. Now, these dies will cut out the stamped images, but then look, you've got all these little extras. I love these Monstera leaves. There's a party hat, an extra bird, a sprig of leaves. These are the canopies for the trees, and I'll show you what to do with those in another card. And there are two sizes of the tree trunk, so there's that one and this one. This is the card we're making today. It's a centre step card, and you really need a 12 by 12 inch sheet of paper. I found the most economical way to make this card is really just to buy the basic white pack. I think there are 12 sheets in a pack of 12 by 12 rather than buying the assortment pack in the colour families, because then you only get 2 sheets of each colour. And if you're wanting to run a class, it'll cost a lot of money to buy all that cardstock. You know, if there's only 2 sheets in a pack of the same colour, I suppose you could have them in different colours. I digress, so let's carry on. I also used the Wonderful Thoughts photopolymer stamp. I wanted to make a Father's Day card, but because there wasn't a sentiment for Father's Day, I sort of stamped these words here and then just cut out the letters that I needed to make up the phrase Happy Dad Day. To save time, I've already pre-die cut the tree and the canopy and the leaves that I needed, and I also cut out the letters I needed and put it on a silicone mat. It's also got the dimensionals on the back, and I've removed the backing sheet, so we'll set that aside to use for later. So this is the other half of the 12 by 12 inch sheet, and I'm just going to cut that up to 5 3/4. If you're in the US, you could cut it to 5 1/2. So I'm going to measure 5 3/4 inches, which this is 5 1/2, so that's 5 3/4. And I'm just going to cut, oh, I've already cut it. And in metric, that will be 14.5 by 30.5 centimeters. Now, whenever you cut on a trimmer, you will get ridges like this on the reverse. So you can smooth that out with a bone folder so it doesn't look so unsightly. And we've got to do some more surgery on this card. So what you do, with the short side on the top, you align it at 1 inch and you make a mark at the 5 1/8 inch mark and the 1 inch mark up the top. Okay, so just push that blade down a little bit, and that is to ensure that you don't overshoot the mark. So 5 1/8 inches. I want to cut up to 1, or rather 1 down to 5 1/8. Then you slide your cardstock to the right of your trimmer and align the left edge to the left of your cutting groove, and repeat. So make a mark at the 1 inch mark. Make sure it hasn't moved and that's still on the 1 inch. And then at 5 1/8 and cut up to the 1 inch. So bring in your scoreboard and the long side on top, start of the 1 inch cut on the left, right, you want to partially score outside the cut lines, alright? So you score at 1 inch, 2 inches, 5 1/8 inches, which is the end of the cut line there, alright? Then all the way down at 8 1/4 inches. Flip the cardstock over and repeat. So 1 inch, 2 inches, 5 1/8 inches, and you've already scored the 8 1/4. Partially score in between the cut lines. I'll bring my ruler in to make sure that I'm on the right groove. So you score between the cut lines here in the middle, right at 4 1/8. So in metric this will be 2.5, 5 centimeters, 13 centimeters, and then all the way down at 21 centimeters. Flip it over and repeat. So 2.5, 5, 13, and then all the way down at 21. And then in between the cut lines here, you score at 10.5. So now you want to burnish your fold. So the first one is a mountain fold. The second is a valley fold. Alright, this one is a mountain fold, and so is the center one, and that is a valley fold, so that your card goes like that. And there's your step card. It's really easy. So let's burnish it all. So that's your card base. Now the other items you need is the embossing folder called the Fern 3D embossing folder. The inks I'm using are Tuxedo Black Memento ink, Old Olive, and the stamping blends are Lemon Lolly, Smoky Slate, and Old Olive as well. So for the front step, I've got a piece that is 7/8 of an inch by 5 5/8. In metric that's 2 centimeters by 14 centimeters. Let's glue that down. Then there's a second mat layer, which is 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/2 inches, and that goes on top. So Old Olive and ink up the sentiment which says you're wonderful, you're loved, and you matter. And let's hope that I can stamp this straight. Then you need 2 side panels, and these have been cut at 7/8 by 3 inches. In metric this is 2 centimeters by 7.5 centimeters. And I'm going to emboss this with a 3D embossing folder. And this is the stopper, and that needs to be embossed as well. And that is 1 inch by 5 5/8 inches, and in metric that's 2.5 by 14 centimeters. An Old Olive piece for the center panel, which also has to be embossed, and this is a bit of a funny measurement, but if I leave it rounded off to a sensible number, then it makes that gap too wide. So in fact this is 3 1/2 by 3 1/16 of an inch, and in metric that will be 9 centimeters by 7.8 centimeters. So I'll go and emboss these off camera, and for this you need platform 1 and the platform 4. So now that I've embossed it, I'm going to glue this onto the card base. You know, we've had a crew working outside our house all along our road, and they're replacing the gas pipes, and it's very noisy and I can't film during the day, so I'm filming it in the middle of the night, and it's already approaching 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's why I'm trying to do things as speedily as I can. And if I get my words muddled up or have glued something in the wrong place, you'll understand why. Now I want to put dimensionals on here, and this will act as a stopper for the centre step so it doesn't flop over. And we'll put this along the bottom here so that the 3 sides have got an equal border around it. So there you go, that will stop the card from collapsing. Now this is where I stamped the sentiment onto a scrap piece of cardstock, and then I held the stamped letters against the light, you know, on the reverse to see where the letters were, and I put adhesive behind it and then allowed it to dry. Then I put it on a silicone mat so that it wouldn't stick to the work surface. So now I'm going to pop these. What did I put? Happy Dad Day. So let's do that now. Doesn't have to be all in a row. The more higgledy-piggledy it is, the better. You're not trying to make it perfect. Now I'm going to stamp the little bird just here. I've changed my mind about using the alcohol pens for this little bird because it will bleed through. So I'm just going to use a marker pen. And this is Lemon Lolly. You don't have to buy the whole set of marker pens because they have a bundle with just the new core colours, so you can add to it and replace the ones that have gone. So that's the inside finished, and now I want to stamp my grass. This hippo and this sitting one as well. So now I'm going to colour my rhinos and the grass with a combination of the Old Olive, Smoky Slate and Lemon Lolly markers. I'll speed this up. I'll go and cut that off camera and I'll be back. So the cutting sound reduced platform 1, the thin die adapter platform 2, followed by platform 3, your cardstock and the die cutting edge face down, and then a second platform 3, and you're ready to run it through the machine. Now I'm going to just trim this grass in half and put this one behind the hippo on this side. So back there. Ooh, it's a lot of glue, isn't there? And there's the card finished. To close the card, you simply just do that and then pop it in the envelope. I was trying to not add more bulk to it. So that's a centre step card. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. I'll be back this Friday with another Rhino Ready card, just an ordinary one. Anyway, thanks for joining me today, and I'll be back with more inspiration next time. Bye!